Yeah, thank you, Gora. Yeah. That's Suma Delane, Somalane. Ni Trashi Delishua, Dani Chachi, Nitini Sachiga, the Losabatse, Goro Tesarwata. Things that are Losabandino, Lani, Samani, the Suzuki de Shavano. Niki Milano, Ni, Animenushu is.
So I'd like to begin with wishing everyone the warm, welcoming to this the first teachings, and also sorry for the technical issue. So I would like to first of all welcome everyone to this first teaching, and would like to wish everyone a very happy year 2021. I mean, which has now already been going for more than a month, and also I send my prayer for the new year for everyone to be free of all the obstacles and be able to fulfill all that you wish to achieve.
That is that the new Mobushi lady. Things are not the Tonochimubule. The ladies are not the Sumalani to Chis.
So, of course, those of you who have come to listen to these teachings, my talks, so you have, of course, put aside all the other things that you are meant to be doing. So you join these teachings with a great deal of your interest in the teachings, and so I would like to thank you for joining to these teachings also.
Ni ta jaselo le sodoma te ngotsune ani te tsayo maris ani ta te gmantane ani ta te ji rot ta iste te yoni ta ka zo tombo ni ji zo she ke se te sala ni gela ke ja ji tribe ke gndi tane mi su yusene ani te ka ga no aro sons.
So I'm going to continue the teaching on the 37 practices of Bodhisattvas, which I began before the pandemic, and also I've giving these teachings because I have consulted with our most venerable teacher, Geshe Dorje, and Geshe Dorje advised to resume this teaching on these 37 practices of Bodhisattvas.
Tine ni ta ngazo karsikita weekend to te udotsane patoya ga ngoji tsune tengo tsuya te lotso no saji dawa kashi ren shiabres.
So last year when the this coronavirus first hit, so for the past few months, so we didn't run any teaching program at the Tara because we were not really sure how or rather we are hoping that we might be able to go resume the teaching program. Then of course things didn't go that way, and so therefore the if many of you who been to my teaching last year, so remember that then we I gave our teachings on the great Tsongkhapa's the concise lamrim, the three principal stages of the path.
Tani sunza ni tatrin dengo chulu katu taji ti kuchise karisena. Ani tati ni rupore ni chinzu mumbuji katu taji ti jewa ina pen du sene mumbuji xie digindi. Marang yung tela pendo yabuji tonso. Tini za ni ta chinzu la tani ge xie ru chin tati koji zo ru chin xiu yi chinzu tena jiga. Ani tatri koji zo ne nani xie yaga. Katu xie di koji zo so ne. Tini za ni tsola ni tuji chi xiga is.
So of course there is still a lot of the restrictions due to this pandemic, and then however so we are not able to resume our normal teaching here at Thara, like a face-to-face teachings, and but many of my friends who I know who all said that it's also very beneficial to give virtual teachings, and also I personally also felt that that might be also very beneficial, and so therefore here we are here tonight to begin this teaching live.
Zata Tumata Tembega Nani Chisundicalani Leparat Yela Sunshi Isine Ni Nissungi. Telani you need to send a
so the whenever the Lord Buddha gave up a discourse, the Buddha always emphasize always says that the listener should to attend to the teaching with a good mental attention and concentrations. So there are of course there are a number of reasons, and if we can mention three reasons why this starting with a good mental attention and concentration is important.
Ta tenses of the Karisana, Ani Lepa sing it, Ani Rat Yala sing it, Yala Sunshi sing it is. Ta Tombo Lepa sing the Karshigo, Tuma ni Chinyamba Dice, Chinyamba Senanda, Ani like a Karchi, Chishu like a Karchinayo, and Gloya Bush Cook, Anthony Singers.
So the three important things for listening to the teachings is, so the first one is is to ensure that the listeners have a right motivation or the intentions for listening to the teachings.
Ni Chevato ni Chin Yambato, Chinole, Picone Castle, Columbia Pojicone, Yambato, Mato, Chanita Majaji and Pondo, send the new Kende Trondega, the new Chinyamina, and de also Chisaki is our and Royal Maris.
So the motivation is important in the beginnings because it helps us to be successful in whatever actions that we undertake, and also secondly to ensure that the actions that here whatever the actions that we do, so it is it is something dharma or the virtuous actions, and so therefore to be our actions to be a virtue or to be a dharma action, so dharma, so we must have a proper or the correct motivations. For example, if for undertaking, in undertaking our action, if our motivations is affected by such a mental affliction such as pride or something to make a gain in this a temporary life, then because of that it kind of spoils our actions, and then our action won't become a practice of dharma.
Wana ani chi nyemba la lig nyemba te chi te chi sen ro wala ni kelong kar go na kelong rad shuna na ni seje tongje de rong dun ra wa ni du nga me pa to de wan de pa sha to yin sa ni zo ni seje tongje du nga le sa gi da ni ala so ta chi nyen ge yi so me ni de ji ge kelong ji ko yi na kelong de ni de wa chen bi ni kelong ro yo re ni kelong ta rad shuna ta lo ji kan ya go yo res.
So speaking of the motivation, the kind of the motivation that we must cultivate for listening to teachings, then we can talk this motivation in three types or three levels. So at the best, so is our motivation for listening is really to benefit all other beings, that understanding that, or recognizing that just as yourselves, as all other beings are also the same in wanting happiness and not, wanting any and sufferings. So therefore, in order to bring about this, happiness and to eliminate the suffering for the other beings. So for this motivation, for this reason, if when we listen to teaching or engage in any dharma practice, then it is said that such motivation is the best one, and it is in fact this motivation kind of mental attitude. So it fits with the Mahayana mental attitude or the motivations.
Ne teta mashuna ya ne ane ronya ne sepi dunga tato le tane ne dewa tawa to pasha o nyambi ne di chet nyamba nyamba sha o sepi ni kalon shi to teta yo mashuna yo seshima ne ta chidra ta bi ne lami ko kombuji ne to ta ba chet la ne a chi nyamba ina ne ta chi nyamba de ne chi sun ro yo res.
And after and next to that, or the below that, then the motivation is to for listening to teaching or for engaging in dharma practice. So it is to achieve the state of liberation or the nirvana for oneself in the futures. Or to be able to free oneself from all the source of sufferings, and so that is the if this the best or the supreme motivation, minor motivation, if not possible, then one should try to generate this motivation of achieving the nirvana for oneself, which is good. And it is said even this one is not possible, then it is said that in order to at least then to still to ensure, to make sure that what we do is a dharma practice, then we have to have a motivation that the reason for practicing this dharma and engaging in the practice. So it is to find a good rebirth, like in a rebirth in a higher rebirth of in the form of human or in a godly beings. So even if we have engaged in the action or the practice with this motivation, then at least then our practice will become a practice of Dharma. So in another word, if our motivation doesn't reflect any of these three levels of motivation, then it won't be considered as a true our action won't be considered a true Dharma practice.
제장다 레파스 다 라트니에스 니파트라와 라트니에스 바티 카르시고 버스나 다 치년게 그 텔마 그런데 이제는 치년게 텔라 차소나 네 다 셈바티 연마이와 네 르포치 치냐사 텔레와 테노지가 셈바티 텔 대체네 아 지스크차 다 셈바 연마이와 코네니 니에가 지테네 게 침보레서
So in the sutras, so regarding this, if we follow the actual wording of the sutras, so where it says, you should listen well and hold the mentally hold the mentally hold. So from this the wordings. So when this wording, when it says listen well, so that well has the indications of what we were just talking about, which is the to having a correct motivations, and then to do with the attention. The next things that this line indicates is to have the good, mental attentions and the focus on the teaching that you are hearing.
That's about the year, so she singing it. Gluten jet, near Punyawa, Yawache, Yapunene, Yapuchisawachi. Yapu Shinsana Yao, then Jembe, Yane, Une Yunda, Une Teso Matona, Une Yunda Comba Machina, Une Ya Pe Haju Chemutne Tome, Kaisana, Ne Natuga, Une Teso Matona, Matso Tuma Mepane, Yamu Tusa Conde Yorma. That's a tea combustion in Yamu Tusatel, Katecho. Then is any Shipa Zonjigo Penge somebody. You know the Comba Mashawaina, and the Yamu Tusate, as your Tuma Conde is any Katecho somebody's. So the third important thing is to, as it's in the literally says, hold in one's mind. So which is to say that the with the you listen to teaching with a good motivation and with a good mental attention and focus. Then as a result of that, of course you can gain some knowledge. You can cultivate some understanding about the dharmas. And then the third thing, which is to hold that understandings. So this is to say that it is then, after having gained the knowledge, then we saying that we need to hold it with the continuous mindfulness, application of the mindfulness, and through the application of mindfulness, we need to familiarize ourselves. Habituate ourselves with that knowledge, and such as like to remembering about the one's knowledge, over and over again, or practicing, over and over again. So in this way, then the listening can be then very fully beneficial. Otherwise, we won't receive a complete benefit of our listenings, because when we look into the
habits of our mind, then we may notice that how our mind has so much habits of always going after the external distractions and or easily influenced by such mental affliction and so forth. So therefore, to really in order for the knowledge of the Dharma to be effective in breaking that habit, so we have to not only gaining knowledge, but we have to familiarize ourselves with that knowledge.
Penani kunto tawajil chewa inayo kunto te mashewi ngene ni kunti nyemi ni ta la supale sune yune yunte ton ni zewe pen la supane ane yune yunte sen la kombashine o tete shine ni kunto te mashewi tashi tani jegu kesane mato ye ji kunto shi tsai ni ngazo zeo kosene kawara zeo kotang mara te inzani kunto mashewi ngene ni 가르치그래서 제베 펜다 우리기 님에서 요네 용도 상지도 같이 모르겠어.
For example, if we in order to counteract like anger. Now from our own experience, we know that how it is very difficult, when we fall under the influence, when the anger already arises within ourselves, and then we pretty much become falls under the power of the anger, and so very difficult to challenge it, counteract it. So therefore, it is important that that in order to counteract anger, so it is important that before this we take some like a preventative measurements, such as like that is before we fall under the influence of the anger. So we give a lot of reflections on the shortcomings of the destructiveness of the anger, and on the other hand, to done reflections on the benefit of cultivating patience. And so when we have these, gain such knowledge about the shortcoming of anger or the benefit of patience, before any event or any cause which brings about which makes anger to arise, then we are in a very good position to counteract it.
Tensosata ngazo ngejeng ni sheche tombo mombo ta kusan chula supi sushi kati nona ti tomatela ni suji chinsu wa sondene ni ta si tombo ni lo lu pale ni jo ni jeje ni chando ta ni si chimani ji lo men pale chiwan ji ni seshe la supi ni diga ni si tela tene ni teso tong yo res.
So following the tradition of many other great masters, including His Holiness Dalai Lamas, who they always recite the prayer for taking refuge, before beginning the discourse on dharmas. So we would also do this recite this prayer of taking refuge. So which is just the prayer only has 4 lines, and the first 2 lines is to really to remind us that the path that we have chosen, so is the correct one. So is kind of distinguish that path from a perverted or the wrong path, And then the next 2 lines is to remind us that the path that we are following is a superior, is a supreme one, or in another word, is distinguished, from the lower, low form of the path. So from the on the part of these, like myself, who here now to assume the role of giving teachings, and as well as from you who are here to listen to teachings. So from all of our part, if we think about the meaning of this the prayer of taking refuge, and so in this, if we do that, if we think about it in the beginning, then really our actions, our whether we're listening to teaching or giving the teaching to Dharma, so would be will bring out tremendous benefits.
Legendary came and you chulita. Ani a legendary can lenjo. Ani Shewang Hachela Supata. Ani a thought Tonje, ni Kenju so what is it? The new on a can let it meet Maboya. Things are the sole ni Rupa Jiji. Ni Kenjusala each beach. The new share of this.
So, like as I said before, so the first 2 lines of the prayer of taking refuge, which distinguish the path that we follow from the wrong or the perverted path. So, so if we ask ourselves, what are the the wrong paths, then the wrong paths are those paths, which reject the idea or this concept of the law of like a cause and effect, like the karma, and or even if they do accept the validity of the law of karma, but they don't, but they reject the idea of the life before or the life afters, and or like the rather all the wrong paths are also those which rather give, presents the idea that of the that the whole everything's the idea of the Almighty God as a as a creator of everything. So so these are the things when we the meaning of that first 2 lines where we take refuge in the 3 jewels, so which ensure that our path that we follow is the right path or the right directions.
The Karisana, ne Suji Korong Swing, ne natural Tavig long dages, Tawa, Rona Roll, Shipachi. Karisana, Sujigo, ne Mazol Sha Cheton de Karisana. 수제거는 가지고 샤 제동대 로마노와 마 대들이 롱거들이 롱거들이 대와 타와도 토지지 거부터 발라 롱들이 녀스 랭거 그랬네 마수야들이 마도 아니 다 간데스 녀스 랭에 아니 소소를 되요 그래서 대시 그래서
so the so talking about like the of taking refuge in three jewels, for example, taking refuge in the Buddha, then the Buddha said in a sutra that the we have to understand that the meaning of sutra, which says that the where the Buddha said that the liberations, where Divi said I show you the path of liberations, but the liberation depends upon you or upon the individuals. So in light of this, the Buddha's the words, his advice, then we have to understand that clearly understand to achieve the liberations. So what is the role? The role of the Buddha, is to only to show the path to the liberations, and to show the right path, right directions, and that's all the Buddha can only do. Only can point or only show that path. And then as Buddha said, but the actual achieving the liberation, so is depend upon yourself. So this is to indicate, this is to advise that one must walk on that path by putting into practice the teachings and that Buddha has given to us.
제장 대노지에는 템베가 돈녀도 근게 얘는 쓰신 계신 줄 예sun거래 대 가르친 거랬잖아. 아니 타워도 도지 침배고 또 발라 수수로니 휴작 그래서 대시 거래. 네 얘지가네 수수소다 라발전에 전도해 드리고 요 말에서 드리시 그래서
and the Lord Buddha also said that you are your own protectors, and the other than yourself, there's no other, there's no outside, protectors. So this the words of the Buddhas, so which is also again clearly shows that how in order to achieve liberations, then we must put the teaching into practice ourselves, and without putting because the Buddha is saying that how Buddha cannot. So the liberation is really depends upon ourselves, upon utilizing our own self potentials, and so it is not something. The liberation is not. Buddha cannot really, take to the liberation, by holding us, by his hand.
대순자네 템바 수제라 샤선로데 템바 샤선로 세근한다 다 이치 세근한다 텐로데 로마노데 비 템바 보실이 이치시 그래서 테마도네 알아서 템발라니 메노자 네 샤라 소파 피지 소잖아 아니 소소니 아니 다워도 도지지 비로토데 요 말레스
to achieve liberations, so it's of course it's not only we have to rely on, depends upon the teachers or the spiritual teacher or the guidance who is perfect, and in showing us the complete and the right path to the liberation. So not only that, but we must also put all the teaching into practice. We have to make an effort, and so it is not, liberation is also not simply. It's not just depends on our faith in the Buddha, that as if the Buddha can do something for us. Even simply with the faith, and then if we do, simply just to pray to the Buddha, or just to a prostration, accumulate prostration, so that these are not going to be adequate for us to reach liberations. So the Buddha is likened to a doctor, a qualified doctor, and so as is for a patient to recover from the illness. So of course, not only must rely on a qualified doctor, but also as well as it's very important to follow all the advices of the doctor, in terms of what medicine you should take, and the things, and what are the things that we should avoid for our health. And so this must be followed. All this advice must be followed by oneself.
Neba nele troane men muji medigda ane nedele shoji den mujiga ne chitiga ane ke jusog nunze chiken chutiga ne mazo ne duhale sho shangi ne tere res ela ne mazo ne tanko wa do ne so dungane ne shangi ba ne chichiko res.
And then there's we also take refuge in the Dharma. So now this just as so Dharma is like a likened to the medicines. Okay, so just as the medicines that we take is a real cause of really a cure of our illness. So likewise, so it is the real refuge, the real protections is the Dharma, the refuge object Dharma. So which we must practice, and it's the Dharma that which we practice, and which we realize. Which we actualize, so that really serve as the true refuge and true protection, just as the medicines.
Ni danza ga nyembon ro ne ni danza mewa che ne ni tela tene ni gude la so ta yo ro ke changa ni ta dome to pishara ti danza ti ni dome to pishara da gude ti ni danza la so pi mewa che wan no ji ga ni ke changa ni ta to chi bi lo so nya se ne ta ta ri es ro
for instance, if we, hear about the Buddha's teachings on the view of selflessness, and then after we we reflected, we contemplated on that meaning, and then make sure that then we, through contemplation, so we, we gain the understanding of what the selflessness is all about, and not only living there, but meditated on that whole the view of selflessness, and so in this way, we can gain the realizations of the selflessness, within ourselves, and this realization then really counteract the or serve as a remedy to the like a self graspings, or to this ignorance which grasp at this inherent or the intrinsic self, and so therefore the how these which this intrinsic this self grasping, ignorant self grasping, which of course is the source, is the root cause of all the affliction to arise, afflictions, which brings us continuous sufferings, and so therefore we can see how the through the through the following these Buddha's teachings on into practice, then we can gain the realization of the teachings, like this realization of the selflessness, and so we can gain the what we call as, along with the realization, we can gain the quality of the truth of cessations, and so in this way, we are able to achieve the state of liberations.
제자네 겐들 샤스소든 샤드피 다루스 타와도 토니치피 로드 팔라 다루 네 소소 타와도 토니치피 로드 팔라 네 인가제 가르치 때소나 네 텔 루파송에 네 좀마시와 되네 개잡트사이 가지고 신게 뭐 드리자 빼나가 전에 네 반나네 메고는 대와 뒤제네 다 네우다와 멤베고 노지가 다 메투 셀라 수파 디디 되네 펜도싱이 되라 네 샤트피 다루세 again 개줄 샤스노 와디 이제 되네 뭐 샤스노 코레스
and then the thirdly, we take refuge in the sanghas. Now, the sangha is the one who is the like a perfect spiritual friend who you can rely upon as a supporter for one's practice, and it's just less same as in the for patients, you have like a nurse, who give assistance to the patients to get better, and so the sangha is someone who you can turn on if you need a support in your practice. For example, if you don't understand certain meaning of certain dharma or certain area of the practice, you can go and discuss that with your sangha, and so in this way, because you do need someone to assistance for that in one's practice, just as the patients in order to recover, to get back to the normal health, need the help of this nurse. So that's meaning. This is how it's important. We have to understand the meaning of taking refuge in 3 jewels.
테노제는 다 아주 농바 유명하다. 저 강간에 샹로 예명고는 제원지요레스. 아주시 아지니 파마 농바레스네. 수조 농바레 가야다. 드리요 말레스. 네 농바 예메데요. 아니 구조티 제라 샹로야 보시 예메. 네 대다요레스. In short, so the point of taking refuge in 3 jewel really means
means one's placing one's wholehearted trust in these three objects of the refuge, and then this, it is also said that whether whether someone is called as a Buddhist or not, so is whether that whether that person take refuge in three refuge or not. So it's not the case that if you are in true sense, not the case that just because your parents are Buddhists, it doesn't mean that you automatically you too become a Buddhist.
근데 로바당가 좋다. 태화진 비치시니까 네. 다 능하면 돼버도 대원대 버. 대노지가 농기 타티비 세계 도제중 능하면 돼버. 대원대 버. 전바신에 또 능할les어. 기시도 안에 조비수지고 버도 봐샤. 디시다니 안에 계주서 하셔서도 하셔고 배거니 안에 샤로트니 지고 그래서 태화진 비시하고 and then if you follow, if you are following the Mahayana path, the path of like a greater vehicle, then we have to take the refuge in the three jewels in such a based on such an understanding that how you all sentient beings are how they are all equal in wanting happiness and not wanting sufferings, and recognizing that, and then in order to benefit them, to benefit all the sentient beings, that then you should think that you take refuge. You want to achieve the complete enlightenment. So that's motivations. So when you follow Mahayana path, so your motivation is to achieve the complete enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings, and then you take refuge. So you then connect this motivation with your in taking refuge. So that is you take refuge in order to achieve the complete enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings. So infusing this motivation of the bodhisattvas with not only with our our spiritual practice that we undertake, we engage in, but in fact with any action, any activity that we do, and including it is said that when before going to bed, if we cultivate the motivations, if we generate these bodhicittas, awakening mind of bodhicitta, then even our whole time of in sleeping, even all this can be also transformed as a Mahayana practice. 지유 세그로 치세그로 하더니 디그 고데 데스 치세.
So in general, so we must always remember that the dharma, practice of dharma means like a training or or subduing our mind, and the subduing our mind of like the mental afflictions such as angers, such as like the self-graspings and so forth. So so therefore the whatever dharma practice that we do, so must it counteract, it becomes as a remedy to some form of like a mental afflictions. So it's like the for example, if we meditate on the view of selflessness or emptiness, and then this view, when we cultivate this view of emptiness or selflessness within us, then like just as the hot and cold water can be the opposite to each others. So like that, it opposes this view of selflessness, opposes this the view of the self, inherent self, and so in this way, as a benefit of our dharma practice, then we are able to get ourselves rid of certain mental afflictions, such as this, such the self-graspings or anger and so forth.
제장아, 네 생지 도와주지 때 레라워지 자원이나 많이 봐. 디체도 배제 첨부시고, 디마세 디세 좀 뭐지 다 동기도 그래서. 될라 때는 나 때만 나다 안주인데네 생지 지지동 댕여죠. 네, 이또 첨부지 그거래. 네, 녀래 시피깔아요. 네 파체 몸보지. 용거래. 다 용화대 시고. 다 파체 몸보 쉬나요. 먼저때 녀래 시거에 현비가 다 담바드네. 먼저네. 제거해야 돼. 같이 모르겠어.
And we must also keep always keep in our mind that when we follow the engage in dharma practice, follow the dharma path, it's not we cannot expect that everything will go very smoothly. So rather we have to expect to face some like obstacles on our path. And also, we also have to understand that even in the practice, in following dharma practice, we must work hard, we must strive hard, and also we have to, give a lot of time as well, and so therefore there's there's necessity of generating a great deal of courage. We need a lot of courage. It needs to have a courage in following the dharma practice.
대인자들이 당가 속 땜베가 도보 땜바 샤자 타와 론이지니 대와 몸보지 리동 아니 깔레 몸보지잖아 아니 냠바주파 송지에 빠 수지에 어떤 같이 하고 그래 대인자 마도 제타 땜베 떨어지 깔레 몸보자 대와 몸보지 리동 마치 니 임베서 시타 마치 와치네 대와지 대라웨 코네 아니 토테요 말레스. So
here, of course, we are talking in following the Dhamma practice. So we are talking about purifying all our negativities, our mental obscurations and so forth. So all these things to accomplish such a purification, such a freeing up ourselves from all this obscuration. So I'm saying it takes a lot of, we must understand that it takes a great deal of courage and our readiness to face the various obstacles and challenges, and also to work hard for a long period of time. So, like for example, if you look back into the life story of the Lord Buddha himself, we have seen, we can understand how hard Buddha worked before reaching the complete enlightenment. So therefore, it is wrong to think that we understand the life story of the Buddha, all the sacrifice the Buddha made and hard work the Buddha went through, and but still at the same time we expect our path to be very easy one, to expecting to achieve the enlightenment very easily, and that's not the right attitudes.
뭉치라 도만 중에서 그런다 가레나 아니 가시거니 템베가 놓 단다고도 지점을 놓 단다고 못들이 다네 나 대절로 송지 왔다 아니 디거니 저예와 놓을 것도 왔다 디건 돈에 다 때말은 주대지네 네 레라고 군에 네 아 손도 보시네 용계서 다때 에요다 대지 돈보 배쪽 가르치
It is so. Of course, there are some people who get so inspired, by reading some biography of like some great early masters, like not only Buddha, even the great yogi like the Milarepas, and then finding out how Milarepas have accomplished such a the supernatural power, like to be ability to fly and in the sky and so forth. And somehow they inspire, and then they simply follow, pretend to be following, but actually without the considering that if they too want to reach the same level of such a spiritual feat as those early great masters, and that then they must also ready to sacrifice to themselves their own happiness and to really to work hard on the path.
야다 링엘은 것도 시원노지래 제시마다 타와도 토지 침비 같은 이거 아니 제다 치마시나 네 지디 지선로 말이세네 들이 시셔 대인자야 가지고 네다 지시발이 김이지 다 가르쳐 그래 타와도 토지 침비 또 제시마라 미네 마도니 첸델라 네다 제시 마도 지디 그 팽이 요사 말에서서는 네 들이 로도 요새 말에 이나야 네다 대야 로도 지래 돼요 가인세나 네 맞돌 제시마다 아니 타와도 토지 침비 또 발라 아니 바지 아니 녀무도 단지 침비 녀무도 살아서 발에 돼요 그래서 대sol은 거냐 대sol은 거네 때부터 저나 네 샌들은 가서 마셔 바징에 돼요 아니 녀무도 살아서 발에 돼요 대인자 아니 타와도 토지 침비 토픽이 됐어 거네나 샌들은 마셔 바셰비 아니 시보 매바 셰비거니 네 다 단지다 네 저도 무슬라 수바요 네 원해네 네 세다가롱라요 네 같이 뭐지 용거요 그래서
No, just before I said that in order for the whatever practice that we engage in to become a Dharma practice, then we must ensure that it is directed towards the goal of like future life goal of achieving a better rebirth or to achieve liberations. So this when I said this, of course I'm not saying that or it is wrong to understand, that Dharma has no benefit, it has no value for us in this current life, and so of course but in fact what we have to understand is that what we can understand is that if we practice Dharma, then the benefit of this for us in this life will kind of automatically happen, or it just take care of itself, the practice itself, because as we touched a little bit on before, that how when we talk in terms of achieving liberation in the future or better rebirth in the future, and then we have to practice Dharma, and we define the Dharma practice as a means, as a remedy to overcome or to eliminate all the mental afflictions, such as mainly like a three poisonous states of mind, like the angers, desires and ignorance, and so forth. That is the main, the whole purpose, whole aim of our Dharma practice. So, and then if we look into this, what kind of this type of the major source of the kind of this problem that we find in this current life, we can also understand that the main source is just none other than these three, our own mind, which is in the main giver, problem giver of our in this life. Even in this life are those three positive, all the mental affliction of the life, such as these three positive states of mind. So therefore, there is, when we emphasize the benefit or the value of Dharma in terms of for us in the life beyond this, emphasize that the implication is that its benefit, if it's something, Dharma is something which benefit to us in such a far, long future, then the benefit to this life is something that which is not to mention. In other words, it arises automatically.
아니 단디가 갖다지만 행고주라니 가서디 자세로를 쏟dem이가 아니 마마테네 로이 있어와 대우 강 갈랄레 열잖아 아니 다 대화 준비세제 같이들레디 있어와 아니 나 수기 수소가니 아지 도바나 니 저와나들이 보이나 아니 아지 대 지주올레긴다 아니 드니르바 이 돈에 저하고잖아 니 지금 아마 지지리 살아네 아마 네
So now, so today, so I just talked about, just give some the introductions to the Dharma, to the practice, and so but from next week onwards, so we will continue the teaching on these 37 practices of Bodhisattvas. And so last year, so we stopped I think at the verse 10, so which begins the teaching on the on generating the awakening mind of bodhicitta. So we continue from there. Also, and then in the meantime, if anyone has a questions, any then you are most welcome to send you can email your question, right, to the office, and then Geshe said he will bring that up in the next session. Or through the Facebook. You can also send your question through the comment, Facebook comment here.
Ai